Actually, it ain't no leaking bio. All right, cool. We here. And also, for some reason, my lives won't save. So if you don't get them, if you don't watch them live, then you won't be able to rewatch them. And I don't know why that's happening because my last live had 7,000 people on there. That was able to rewatch it, even though it was only like 1,200 people that seen it live. So, but after that, it won't. For some reason, it just won't save, even when I try it. But I was reading out this book right here, man, and I have this book. It's called Accomplishments of the Muslims. Um, Most people don't know that the newspaper that's been circulated around, this beautiful newspaper with the good brother Nipsey Hussle on there. Hold up, move that up. Y'all ain't supposed to be seeing all this good product. So this good newspaper that's been circulated with the tribute of Nipsey Hussle has been circulating, and this newspaper has been around for quite some time, for over, you know, like 70 years. It's been in public. It's been in publishing, and that's a very powerful accomplishment of something that Elijah Muhammad started during his time. So this right here is a reprint of a magazine that was released in spring of 1975, and I just happened to be looking it up today, and it was going over some of the accomplishments of the Muslims. And when you first open it up, it has the Salam restaurant, right? So a lot of the times we look at our accomplishments as far as the things that we need to do as Black people, and we look at it as stuff that we've never done. Sometimes it's just that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We need to take some of the models of things that's been done before, and then just redo them and make sure that they never fail again. I know that after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, passing, a lot of those things went down because the structure of the nation's integrity was compromised. And Minister Louis Farrakhan had to rebuild the nation of Islam himself. So before I get into that, Ricky Belmontes, you asked me a question on something that I thought was problematic within your question, and I'm not here for any negativity. So if you have anything negative, I won't entertain it. And so you asked me a question: is it the movement that's going on right now? You asked, is it emotionally oriented or is it logic oriented or something of that nature? And it was a long form question. So this goes for everybody who want to put long paragraphs right under my comments and under my post. For most part, I just swipe them, and I'm not gonna lie, I get a satisfaction by just getting rid of all of that good stuff. And what ended up happening, so you wrote that long form, reply instead of just adding something positive to this collectiveness. And what I told you, instead of it being emotional oriented or logic oriented, I told you it was block oriented, which means that I will block you if you keep orienting your comments under my post. So there it is. Thanks for asking. So anyway, let's get back to what we was getting into, man, because this is a little bit of history for some of y'all that don't know. And this is important when we talking about connecting history, um, and we talking about accomplishments. It says before any Black person in America can intelligently talk about accomplishments by, of, and for Black people, that person, be he Muslim or not, must look at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of Allah. Now, this is important, and I say this because even, like you say, Nipsey Hussle passed on the message to the Black man to um he passed on the message to the Black man to T.I. And if I look at Nipsey Hussle and his accomplishments, he was the prime example of what it means as far as what we want to do in America, as far as being Muslims, doing for self, giving back to the hood, building up your communities, teaching those who don't know, striving to make the place that you come from a better place and leave the world a better place once you leave. Those are the things that he set out to do, and those are the things that he left with his legacy. Now, in every legacy in America, for every Black man that has accomplished something great, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been somewhere within their story. And you cannot find me a Black man where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad hasn't inspired with his teachings and a message that he left. And this is a very powerful thing. And so I'm gonna go over just some of the accomplishments, and the importance that this legacy is to Black people in America, and why we need to continue to build upon that if we want to get to those places that we say we want to go. So this is not about religion. This is about what we need to do in order to get to where we need to be. I grew up. I told you all about growing up under your Black Muslim bakery in Oakland under a man. His name was Dr. Bay, and my father was a captain in his organization at the time. And during that time, he had a bakery that he was. Hold on, I just tapped in the. Can y'all hear me clearly before I go in any further? Just hit thumbs up or click the like button or something. Let me know y'all can hear me. All right, cool. Looking like some people throwing magic out there still, so that might just be one person sound. I'm not sure. I want to make sure my phone sticks up. Hold on. Somebody said no. Somebody said yes. So everybody else can hear me clearly. Thank y'all. For everybody else, you might have to fix yours because I don't think it's mine. And so this legacy is important because as I grew up in Oakland, California, I grew up in an organization that was like a paramilitary organization, and they had their own EMF health services that my uncle Nadar helped start. They had a security company. They had a bakery that sold baked items and good, all organic items, freshly made. So we grew up in a place that it was super healthful oriented, and at a time it was so healthy that black people hadn't caught on to the health craze. Like it wasn't this vegan time that we are now. It was, but those like that's why I grew up as a vegetarian when I was younger because it was all health food options that I grew up on eating. And at the time, it's funny because there was a lot of white people that come from Berkeley that were some of the first customers because black people hadn't caught on to eating healthy and eating good at the same time. So they had their own bakery and everything was made fresh with this bakery and then put right in front so that you can buy. So anyway, so they had the bakery and then they had a school right across the street called Elijah's Educational Center. And Elijah's Educational Center didn't teach based on the traditional curriculum. And at that time, when I was in school, it was that No Child Left Behind Bush bullshit that children had to learn. And so instead, we were taught based on our aptitude levels, based on, if you can learn and you are at a 12th grade level, you know what I mean? Then we're going to give you 12th grade assignments, based on the assessment of your ability to be able to move further. So you weren't held back, just because you are at the grade level of sixth grade. So we're going to give you sixth grade. No, they was just saying that whatever level you at, that's how we're going to teach you. So when I learned at that school, a lot of the things that I learned at Life Educational Center, I remember till this day, and I have a vivid memory of a lot of those things that I went through back in the day at Elijah's Educational Center, and that was very important. And it was a school that was separated by sex, so the boys was on one class, the girls was on the other side of the class. And in that school, I learned a lot about not only myself but my learning ability. It wasn't until sixth grade when I went to public school that started to diminish my learning abilities because the style of teaching was bullshit and the class was so much of a disruptive environment that it didn't allow me to focus on what I needed to, and then it didn't personalize the curriculum so that I can go step by step in my learning evolution. So anyway, we also used to be outside and we would drill throughout the entire year. Drilling is a military exercise of discipline. So like left face, right face, the sort of what you've seen on the video. So we grew up doing that, and we used to have Savers Day competitions. It was a lot going on. Anyway, let me get to the point. Hold on, that boy going in. Anyway, so we used to. I grew up in a paradigm of seeing like this is all black people doing this themselves, so all independents. And even at that time, Dr. Bay had even ran for mayor, and he had almost won. Um, and so they police their own neighborhoods. You understand me? And police the gangs around those neighborhoods as well. And there was a I guess you can call it a treaty to let you know that you don't do certain things over here. You know what I mean? We don't come, bother you and mess with you over there. So that environment, if you stayed within that radius of that block, you were protected and safe. And anything that was under the Muslims' control, you were protected and safe. So even the apartment building that we stayed at on 24th and Telegraph in Oakland, California, my father was a super for that. And him being a super, everybody knew that he was also the captain at your Black Muslim Bakery organization, meant that when there was drug dealers that would be on the premise and he'd tell them to stop selling drugs, if they didn't, we would go do late night FOI rides. We would pull up to them, and either you get your ass beat or you get one last opportunity to stop what you're doing. And then that stopped the environment of drugs being sold within that direct vicinity. Now, it's been times I've been outside, my pops got shot at and shot back. He used to do a bunch of different things. And, just for a warning, Muslims don't carry guns, but within the Nation of Islam, but this was an offset. So those Muslims did at that time. It was a lot going on, and all of this is public knowledge. So I'm only saying this because everybody knows this. If you know the history of Oakland and the city that you grew up, but bringing it back to the point, this was all started because of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Dr. Bey had a conversation with Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he told him to, yeah, you can go start a bakery in Oakland. I want you to name it Your Black Muslim Bakery. And he said your because it's not ours, it's for the people. So, my whole life I've been seeing the accomplishments and the attached accomplishments of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad message has done, indirectly and directly. And we're still seeing it as it's prevailing today. And there's a lot of history that a lot of people don't know about. So that's when I hear people like disrespect the name and things of that nature. They don't even realize like how many families who have been started and how many lives have been saved because of his works and the teachings and the message that he brought out forward. So let's continue to go in it. So I'm gonna show y'all some of this. And I want to go to this part right here, and I'm gonna go back to some of it. But at a time in 1975, the Muslims had bought a plane for Elijah Muhammad. They had bought a private jet, and it was a private jet that they did a 90-day fundraising drive yield for 1.15 million dollars to purchase the price for the aircraft. In today's money, that it looked like around $6-7 million roughly, as an estimate. But this was a 90-day drive that they did in order to raise this money. And in today's time, of course, if a leader needed to raise that kind of money, but not only did he just use it for his private, he also used it to import and export fish because they had a fishing contract, with Peru. So they export like 25,000 pounds of fish back and forth. And they was able to use that as business infrastructure. They had the Salam restaurant. So not only was they was importing the fish and selling it, through the local markets, but they was also able to have a restaurant where they was able to cook that fish and sell it to the people. And so Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a real hands-on man that took a message and also implemented it directly and showed you, how you can become the teachings and not just know them and not just talk about them, which is very important. He said, Guarantee Banks want you to know it was a. So let me read this. Guarantee Banks is a strong foundation, the Nation of Islam. Through the guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our bank is growing stronger on an economic base that is progressive and productive. Ooh. Because we are the bank of the Nation of Islam. We are immune to many of the economic problems that affect many banks. So many people didn't know that the nation had a bank. It's called Guarantee Banks. Guaranteed Banks is an institution supported by self-producing nation, which is growing with you as a people to understand and service your needs. Our economy is growing. Our savings accounts are growing. Our foundation is strong, and that's why we're your strong side. You understand me? So this is dope. And let me show y'all a picture of it. So there was a bank at the own bank. And a lot of people don't know this. Like a lot of people, we look at the history of like the bank that's in Atlanta and other black banks, and we don't realize like we had this stuff in the 70s being built. But in every step of the way of the Nation of Islam, of course, you also had the FBI. We're trying to stop it. And this is not like conspiracy theory. This is actual fact. You can look up their books and it shows you everything that they do to try to stop the nation from improving and persisting on the path that they were on. So this is like just pure fact. So you need to do your homework before you come at any of this sideways because all of this shit that you see other people doing, let me know if you want to tap in, Dar. Everybody that you see other people doing, This was all started off the foundation of the example that's been set already. All right. So the messenger's own son was the one who flew his craft. You know what I mean? His own son was the one who actually flew his craft. He enrolled in school at 16th in the school for black aviator Emmett Stovall at Chicago's Midway Airport. He said, "My grandfather always encouraged me to fly." His name was Sultan Muhammad. Adding to the major incentive in his quest for a pilot's license was Honorable Elijah Muhammad's promise that aspiring aviator could someday become his personal pilot. So think about that. He had told his son that I want you to become a pilot. I want you to get this license, and then one day you could be my personal pilot. And so in his grandson's mind, his vision was to one day fly for his grandfather. And then years later, his grandfather actually was able to acquire a plane. He actually became his personal pilot. Like that's amazing. I don't know if y'all feel like the spirit of that sort of accomplishment and willpower you got to have as a black man, and a foresight that you got to have as far as your plans and where you're going in life, to be able to ask your grandson to become a pilot so that he can be your personal pilot years later, because you already had the vision and foresight of all of the work that you was going to do and the ability to be able to produce such a great accomplishment. It's amazing stuff. Now I know they don't talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a businessman. So a lot of you all don't know this. Y'all know y'all talking religion. No, we talking actual facts here. We talking entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship didn't look good. And you talking about a man who says that he didn't say he didn't learn entrepreneurship from some school. He didn't learn entrepreneurship from Harvard, even though he had at the time of his passing he had an $80 million empire. But he didn't learn it from some middle class school, right? He said that I learned my economics from God Himself, because he had a third grade education. So he said that everything that I learned was straight from God. And the God, he said, came in the person of Master Father Muhammad, whom a man that taught him for 3 years. Now, a lot of y'all don't know the backstory on the nation. And while we walk around, we call ourselves gods. And, where we get this confidence from, the teachings that we learn, because it's not about some mystic or some spook. It's about the actual things that he showed proof and what he did. He's the most successful leader to date. So let's continue. So they started their own pressing company, Muslim Pressing Company. Boom. So Muslim press innovate press industry. It says many who are familiar with the discrimination pervading the printing industry consider it a minor miracle every time Muhammad speaks newspaper, the original name, Giant goes urban and press roars and spins out his 900,000 copy weekly edition. Here's a man with a third grade education that comes to the world that tells you that the white man is not God. He says that Jesus is not white. He says the black man is God. He said the white man is devil. He said I got knowledge of astronomy. I got knowledge of history. I got knowledge of civilization. He said I was taught by God. I got knowledge of business. He said I got all of the answers. He said I got all the keys. He said I got all the keys. And he said I'll give you $10,000 if you can prove me wrong by one word. And after he said that, you understand me? He just started accomplishing everything he wanted to. So let's continue. So the man said that it's a problem with the press. It's a problem with this fake news. He was the first person to talk about the fake news way before Donald Trump. You understand me? So he said, what we gonna do is we gonna create our own news. We're gonna create our own. He didn't like the printing industry, so he got into the printing industry and pumped over 900,000 copies weekly. Like we want things to change, but we have to control the narrative. We have to control our own media if we want to actually produce the change. So he's seen the problem, then he's seen the solution, then he executed on what the solution was. Let's continue. It says traditional discrimination in the major unions had barred entries of many blacks into apprenticeship and web. Offset printing and the Goss went up amid predictions of failure from veteran pressmen. Knowledgeable advisors estimated that it required approximately 6 years before the MS crew, who had only rudimentary knowledge of printing from work on a small 215 model offset, some technical schooling, and tips from the Ghost erectors, was sufficiently trained to produce a quality newspaper. But remarkably enough, in 1969, the printing of 400,000 top quality papers for then Muhammad Speaks Weekly circulation was closed to reflect action for the fledgling all black team of lithographers. So, they had always predicted that brother was going to fail, but he succeeded in all the endeavors where they said that he wasn't. So look, today, this newspaper persists. Something that was started by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and you ain't seen nobody come up with a cover and giving it to the people. Minister Farrakhan printing out 100,000 copies to give away because we have to be able to control the narrative. We have to be able to control communication. This is a tool of communication. And y'all don't understand when you a lot of people, oh, y'all selling those final cards. No, we getting information to the people. We communicating to people the truth, right? Because imagine if the New York Times is giving away 100,000 copies, but they're not putting the truth in their paper. They're not communicating with the people the truth, so it doesn't matter. So you got to be able to control the narrative, and then if you open this up, it teaches you. It got the true history, got who he was. You know what I mean? His people's in here. Come on now, what did it say? It says Nipsey Hustle. It got it in digital form as well. Yes. And you can subscribe for digital form. I'm going to start putting a link in my bio for subscriptions, matter of fact. It said Nipsey Hustle was true hip hop culture. Revolutionary, unapologetic, standing for the rise of a people. Man, that sounds beautiful. That sounds beautiful. So you ain't gonna find nothing but truth in here, but it's important that these factors of communication continue to exist, and a lot of people don't understand that because this is the only black perspective that's giving you truth, unfiltered and adulterated. To be honest with you, the black perspective from the conscious perspective is not even represented in media or entertainment at all. You the day that you see a character in entertainment, think about the black families that they put on the movies now and the sitcoms now, right? Think about the movies that you see now. Now the movies that you're going to see, they're going to add a homosexual character. They're going to add a feminized black man. They're going to add a very ambitious black woman on there. You might not sometimes you might not even see a father in the picture at all. You're going to have these super millennial kids that are accepting of every new construct to known to man as far as what society wants to push. This is going to be like the family model that they're pushing. You're not going to have a son in there that got a consciousness like Jibril, 19 keys that's thinking like a shifter. You're not going to have one that has this thought process as if we don't exist, as if that archetype is not necessary to be represented at all. Right? So, anyway, let's continue. So, we get on to the next one. It says, Muhammad feeds the multitude. Muhammad feeds the multitude. It says load of whiting, H, and J fish deposited on dock at Los Angeles Harbor testified to millions of pounds of nutritious seafood important to North America for consumption by blacks. Whew. Hold on. Did it say millions of pounds? Whew. So you telling me he was out there feeding Black America? Man, it's getting exciting for real. So it was coming for Peru. So he had to go over there, this little black man, you know what I mean? He had to go over there and he had to go communicate with him, right? And he had to go over there and negotiate a way that he can get a fish contract to get it sent over here. Now, of course, the government ended up intervening in that and messing it all up because that's what they do. The nation, y'all wonder why the Nation of Islam don't be working. If you think that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had it tough back in those days, and the FBI didn't even have the resources that they had back in those days. Imagine how many blockades the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has to go through. I'm just saying, and they got a lot more technology and a lot more resources today. I don't think y'all understand. Like if you read those FBI files, all of the different things they was doing to interrupt. You understand me? By sending in agents, by creating lies, by messing up import and exports, by trying to kill the messenger, trying to come on now. Anyway, it said let me read. Let me continue to go. It said this is your education for tonight. It said Chicago. When the Rio de los Sauces arrived at the Los Angeles harbor last fall, the 18th in succession of vessels docking at harbors across the country loaded with whiting, H, and G fish, it dramatically signed the existence of the Nation of Islam's imported fish program. Ha, this is amazing. Newscasters at the country's major periodicals began calling the program the greatest black self-help effort in the country. Oh my God, this makes me so excited to hear this kind of stuff. It says, but for millions of blacks, the whiting H and G fish had long represented the last and only hope during the era of economic disaster and rumen famine. The fish's low cost of 65 cents per pound contrasted with the 120 to $2 per pound for comparable sea. Not only did he go out there and get the best fish, he undercut the prices. He undercut the prices in the market to make sure that we can get it at affordable rates so that the lower class can eat. Oh man, so it wasn't no super capitalistic agenda. Because he said theirs was at like 120 to $2, so he could have just hit them at $1. He could have kept a little more profit, but he said, "No, I want to make sure," because he knew how much we was making. $65, 65 cents. Man, the whiting is virtually boneless, which figures, along with the low price, another big element in the household economics, and is prepared in fillets, patties, casserole, nutritional soup, gumbos, powders. They was whipping it up, whipping it up. A top executive of the Muslim imported fish program who revealed that the fish sausage is replacing the meat sausage as a breakfast staple. So he was getting people off of the meat. You know what I mean? Off of the beef because he was giving them something else that they could use. He didn't just tell them, stop this. He said, no, I got this for you because you got to keep a balance for the people. Don't just tell them to stop doing something without giving them something better in place. Darby, let me know if you want to chime in. Customers who used to eat fish once a week, including it in their daily diet. Part of the fish usually discarded, such as the bones, can be ground into plant food, and the skins can be battered and baked into tasty chips. Tasty chips. Oh, they was working. But the primary element of the program that captured headlines and news commentaries was its use as a commodity, providing development capital for disadvantaged communities. So the money was going back into disadvantaged communities. So it wasn't only feeding you, it was circulating back into the communities that it was feeding. So you was eating, giving them money, then it was coming back to you in some sort of way. Oh my God, this is amazing. Ah, this just feels good. And a job to combat the traumatic spiral of unemployment among blacks. So it was creating jobs, feeding tables. The Muslim Fish Program had provided more than 500 full-time jobs for blacks in New York City alone, said Minister Louis Farrakhan in the nation of Temple Number 7 and national representative. This is at the time when Minister Farrakhan was a national representative for the Nation of Islam. He said the program, which imports whiting H and J at the volume of more than 3 million pounds monthly, was equally as successful in employing blacks in Philly, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and other large cities throughout the country, as well as the nation's headquarters in Chicago. WH Fish was chosen as an import commodity by the Nation of Islam because it contains no parasites, no negative mercury content, and it's caught in non-polluted waters and is similar in taste and texture to seafoods considered delicate in black neighborhoods across the country. Like think about all this psychology and research that goes into it. Most people don't even know about the mercury content that persists within the meats and the fishes that people eat today on these fish markets, which are dangerous for us today that we consume. But he took into accountability the mercury, but he also took into the texture on how black people love eating pork and other things that has particular textures. So he chose the fish in a scientific manner, strategically, to make sure that he can use the right. It was man, it was so amazing. This is leadership right here. This is leadership. This initial the let's see. I tell people all the time, you don't like the religion, you don't like all that. Let's stick to the actual facts. Actual facts are things that exist in real time, right? Not opinions. Opinions. Leave me alone with that. The initial search for a nutritional seafood following a 1972 announcement by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that the Muslims would soon offer fish products for consumption by America's black population sent Muhammad representatives to markets throughout the Far East and Latin American continent. Look at that brother serving that good food. Boy, look like that fish was good back in the day. Boy, it look like that fish was good. So yeah, so they went over there to talk to the Peruvian ambassadors. And this is what you got to do. You have to sometimes, go outside the country to establish what's necessary here. So everybody say, let's go to Africa, let's go to this, that, and the third. I tell those same people, go out there and establish something, then bring it back here, right? Or go out there and establish something and showcase an example of what you mean, right? Become an example of what you mean, become a product of what you're selling, right? When you become a product of what you're selling, and it becomes undeniable. It sells itself. So, you know, they went over there. They talking to the Peruvian people. They talking to the Peruvian government. And they Islam International people. I'm reading from the Accomplishments of Muslim. It was a reprint of a magazine that was printed out in 1975. So they did the Black Family Bazaar. So let's read into this. Some 70,000 blacks gathered in New York last June at the Black Family Day Bazaar, sponsored by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The crowd above is proof of his teachings that blacks can come together in large numbers for constructive purpose. So he did a Black Family Bazaar, right? So he had black people come together to have Black Family Days. Oh, amazing. We got to do a Black Family Day again. We got to do a Black Family Day again. We gotta do a Black Family Day again. I just felt that energy. We gotta do a Black Family Day again, people. We have to. Like a Black Family Day. We gotta family is missing, is so important. Please, we gotta do that. We gotta bring that back. Like for real. Like I'm excited just reading this. We gotta do that one. Bro, Pop, we gotta do a Black Family. Man, it says after years of slander and often outright abuse, the population of this beleaguered civilization is finally beginning to give credit to the messenger of God in his own time. People don't usually give you credit in your own time. From Morristown, New Jersey, and Springfield, Massachusetts, to Philadelphia and Los Angeles, citizens and their government are giving official recognition to the accomplishment of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in increasing and ever increasing numbers. He was doing so much they couldn't deny it. He feeding the people, clothing the people, giving them jobs, giving them knowledge, changing their names, taking off the check. Boy, that man was. I better stop playing with me. I better stop playing with me. So look, it says lost citizens and government given it. All right, the name Muhammad, a name that was once thought somehow alien and threatening, is being used with increasing frequency as a synonym of black progress. In New York City, in particular, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's name has been indelibly etched into the hearts and minds of the huge city's populace. In 1974, the concept of Black Family Day won as a bizarre theme, and the overwhelming success it enjoyed spurred the adoption of the theme for Black Muslim bazaars held throughout the country. So throughout the country, they had, man, we got to do a Black Family Day. When we go pick a day and we go do a Black Family Day, this is coming, baby. This is coming. You understand me? I know y'all ideas of Black Family today are all messed up. We ain't worried about that. We bring it back to original Black Family. Ah, ah, ah. Let's get it popping. You know what I'm talking about? The first Black Family Day Bazaar held on May 27th, 1974. And we should do something on May 27th, man. Bring it back. Bring it back. The same day Memorial Day was celebrated, drew an estimated crowd of 70,000 people. Oh my God. According to Joe Walker, MS New York bureau chief, the hugely successful bazaar featured a total of 515 display booths and displayed by 14 for and displays by 14 foreign governments. So he even had the other governments around the world connected into this black family. It's like, everybody popping. Shoppers were able to purchase from exotic array of herbs, spices, incense, jewelries. You know what I'm talking about? So he was the original one putting on, y'all like to put together the Afro punks and all this other stuff. Nah, it was like Muhammad that was throwing the most popping back in the day. You know what I'm talking about? Shoppers were able to purchase the spices, the incense, the jewelry, the more conventional items like phonographs, records, tapes, books, clothing, electrical appliances, etc. They had the market popping, people. So the Black Family Day wasn't just about the black people getting together as a family, but it was creating economic stimulus at the same time. Minister Farrakhan addressed the massive crowd and spoke about the remarkable longevity of the Nation Islam in the face of the destruction of so many other black-oriented organizations. There is a black man in America, America that time has not destroyed, the articulate minister noted. There's a black man in America who was here in the 30s, here in the 40s, here in the 50s, here in the 60s, and now in the 70s. Elijah Muhammad is still on the scene and going strong, Minister Farrakhan said. Every black person in America should have the opportunity to be here today. Oh, no, that wasn't him. That was Barbara Morgan of Manhattan. The event in a tremendous favor reaction. It reverberated throughout the entire New York metropolitan area. And on September 15th, sequel, Black Family Day Part 2, then New York State Governor Malcolm Wilson proclaimed Black Family Day in the state. So it became so infectious that even the people in government was participating in Black Family Day. See, y'all don't know y'all history, man. Y'all thought Black History Month was in February. Nah, man, it's every day, B. Every day. As long as my heart pumps is Black History. Um, the second event because was the second event because it was without the added consumer interest and activity of a bazaar, and it because it was held on the same day as the Black Solidarity Day parade attracted a crowd of 35,000. Mr. Farrakhan again addressed the major address. He directed his march at the crucial problems confronting the very survival of the Black family. He was talking about that back in the 70s. We live at a most crucial time in the history of this world, he said. Messenger Elijah Muhammad is teaching us that the work we know, the world of the white people, the Western world, is now in the throes of death. In the midst of the fall of the civilization, a Black family must have divinely inspired guidelines to follow in order to escape being crushed by the collapse of the West. The knowledgeable minister counseled. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the only man who could provide us with a safety zone. He added, a wide gathering of local and national Black politicians were on hand for the rally as the United Nations diplomats and Black movie and television actors. I came to respect and honor Mr. Muhammad and his great work for Black people in America, said film star and former football great Jim Brown. Ha! Jim Brown, the same one who was with Kanye, you understand me, and Donald Trump. Jim Brown's, I seen Jim Brown. He was at Minister Farrakhan's son's funeral when I was in Chicago. You know, now they over here. You look at Muhammad Ali. He carrying a box of that fish he was taking home. That's how he was winning the fights. Boy, he had that fish. Had that fish. Yeah, coffee was on point tonight. Former, for Muhammad Ali, 1974 was the year of vindication after 7 years. The controversial athlete returned to recapture the coveted heavyweight crown that was seized by the first authorities after his refusal to enter military service. This well-deserved triumph followed years of official exile from the boxing ring. You know what I mean? Muhammad Ali came back for him. You know what I mean? But even throughout defeat, Muhammad Ali, the great athlete, poet, diplomat, personality extraordinaire, always re-emphasized his belief in Allah and the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which was the initial source of conflict with his military draft board. So if he had never joined the nation, then he would never been doing his greatness. Amazing. Amazing. You understand me? And how many people did that stop from joining the military? All right, look, I rest my case on that one. All right, so let's see what we got here. This one is just teaching children how to chew their food. All right, so look, we had a look at this office building right here. This office building, that big office. Look at that. Just take another. Let's take a closer look. Take a closer look. All right, all right, all right. It says Southside welcomes $2 million office building. It says since its opening in the summer of 1973, more than 2,000 Southside residents have toured the Nation of Islam cells and office building. Civic dignitaries and foreign representatives, along with many of Chicago's civic, vocational, and religious groups, together have visited the modern three-story structure at an average rate of 114 persons per week. The 88 Park Senior Citizens Group, Old Town Boys, Woodline organizations excuse me, frequenting the center for a refreshing tour and captivating presentation of Nation of Islam's achievement. The Nation of Islam sales and office building was designed by prominent Black architect Leroy Hillard. It was even designed by a Black architect. Well, it was built by Ernest Bush Construction Company, one of the city's largest Black builders. It was built by Black people. Oh man. Oh man. It was designed and built. It was amazing. Designed, built, and for and owned. Oh man, you don't get no better than that. At a cost of 2.1 million, it was the largest construction contract captured by any Black firm during 1973. Whoo, man, know what I'm talking about. The building houses Nation Islam transportation, marketing, and import department office space, 5 medical suites, including treatment and examination rooms, a retail import store and information center slash display area that seats 150 and provides slides, movies, lectures for guests. Well, everything was. Can you imagine that today? Man, popping, popping. They got something like that now. Now, pop. If you're still online, that's what they need to do to the space. We had our event in Houston, and it was at the largest technology incubator in America. That's black on, and it's in Houston. And we did a dope event, a vision board event that me and Pop was able to utilize the space. Jamaican government hosts Muslim delegation. You see the rosters, man. You see Jamaican was rocking with the nation. Jamaican was rocking. Jamaica was rocking with the nation. Let's see what Jamaica was. Why was the Jamaican government rocking with the nation? Let's see what was popping. It says Kingston, Jamaica. For the first time in its struggling history, an official delegation from the Nation of Islam visiting the foreign country was accorded all the dignity accompanying a diplomatic ceremony. You know what I'm talking about? That means that when they came to the country, they was treated like royalty. Mm. The administration of Jamaican Prime Minister Michael Manley was the first foreign government to permit Mr. Muhammad's teachings from the speaker stand shared by the chief of state. The Muslim entourage, which included heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, was headed by Minister Jam Muhammad. Boy, he had a dope name, Jam Muhammad. Brother of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and featured Minister Louis Farrakhan, national representative of the Nation of Islam, as the official spokesperson. Um, more than 200, more than 200,000 Jamaicans lined the streets of Kingston as a 20-car motorcade twisted through the capital city to an official welcoming ceremony at the government's national arena. 200,000 Jamaicans. They came through to see the black men and what they was doing in America. Y'all want to talk about unity? That's what love and unity look like for real. Let's see. Let's continue to go on. During the ceremony, Prime Minister Manley lavishly praised the works of Mr. Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad leads one of the most remarkable movements in the world, he declared. We are proud of his work, and you let him know that this Prime Minister of this proud country would be very honored to welcome him as our guest at any time. Now, excuse my language. Okay, that's my accent. Muhammad Ali said, I want to do the shuffle. It's time to be serious. The shuffle now would be to dignify the white man's tradition of clowning. No, he said, I won't do the shuffle. It's time to be serious. He said, I ain't got time to be playing. Mr. Farrakhan, national representative of the Nation of Islam and the official spokesperson for the Muslim delegation, praised the Jamaican leader, telling the crowd, you have a prime minister that stands for freedom, justice, and equality. World heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, who enjoys immense popularity amongst the Jamaican people and who was the initial source of the generous invitation, who was also praised by the Prime Minister as an admirable model for the youth for Jamaica. Your fists may have put you in everybody's favor, the Prime Minister said, but it was your conscience that has written you in immortality in the history of human affairs. We can say the same thing for Nipsey Hussle. We can say, your music have put you in everybody's favor, but it was your conscience that has written you into immortality in the history of human affairs. And he's already written, he ain't even been put in the ground yet, he already written in U.S. history. Muhammad Ali, whose usual ringside joviality was replaced by the sober demeanor of a state representative, told the audience his dedication to the program of Mr. Muhammad. Although many of the speakers stand began clearing a space for Ali to perform his famous shuffle, he told the crowd it's time to be serious. So he started off tapping in, but he's like, look, relax. This is a serious time right now. We got to tap in. He told the enthusiastic gathering, we're talking about black people being free, respecting their brothers, respecting their women, and ruling themselves. To shuffle now will be dignifying the white man's tradition of clowning. I ain't come over here to play. And he said the Muslim delegation was later feted as the state banquet at Jamaica House, the Prime Minister residence, and was also received by the opposition Jamaican Labour Party. An official welcome was extended by the Jamaican Governor General Florizil Glasspool, representative of the Queen of England. All right, majestic state level. So anyway, y'all get the point. Jamaican loved them. Jamaican crowd went crazy. They was connecting, building those bridges of connections all over the world, all over the world. So this is the book. At the time, it was only $3.95. This is the book that Nipsey Hussle gave to T.I. And that shit a black one. It was only $3.50 back in the 70s. So it's a little more now. Wait a minute. Let's see what this said. This said something about all right, Jamaican crowd. All right. Mama Temple who acted as chief protocol. All right, cool, 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 cool. It says Muslim college. It says Muslims plan national college. All right, let's see what they're talking about here. It says Muslim plan national college. Hmm. Chicago. More than 150 college trained Muslim followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad met in Chicago last year to outline a national college program for the Nation of Islam. This is getting interesting, people. This is getting interesting, people. It says, in addition to that number, in actual attendance, the meeting, officially called the Planning Meeting and Seminar Workshop, attracted pledges of assistance and support from hundreds more who did not attend. The coordinator of this historic gathering, Arthur Majid Muhammad, the general business manager of the Nation Islam, said, "We're only beginning to do what the messenger has been urging us to do for many years." Mm. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that the implementation of the long range administrative and technological program, which he has planned for us, will require the highest caliber of trained administrators, scientists, technicians, and other laborers of all levels and descriptions which we are capable of producing. Brother Muhammad noted. According to him, the objective of the 3 day meeting was to make initial steps to outline a national college program which embodies short and long range administrative, instructional, and academic prerequisites for aiding the implementation of the stated national goals of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said the seminar was a total success in what it attempted to do. Majid Muhammad, a former author and holder of a master's degree in mathematics, said it is essential for the nation of Islam to educate our own. National resources for immediate projects with the Nation of Islam is presented engaged. Now, you would think that if the government, if anybody of black leadership, anybody that was around at that time had any interest for black evolution and progress, would be 100% behind all these things. Instead, he was met with opposition on every side. Temple Administration, International Trade and Commerce, um, national and international methods of modern transportation, communication, and national and local businesses such as Muhammad Speaks newspaper, the Nation Fish Program, farms, supermarkets, restaurants, etc. Sis Mary Holder, of a Master's of Social Work degree, said that the unprecedented meeting was a very positive step in the right direction. Although most participants were college graduates, including many with postgraduate degrees, they readily acknowledged the limits of their academic training as it compared to the knowledge given to them by the messenger Muhammad. So they said, "Man, I got master degrees." They said, "I ain't gonna lie, I got the BS degrees," but they said that these were master degrees. They only taught me how to be a better slave. They said the BS degrees was bullshit degrees because they ain't teach me nothing that I needed. But they said the degree of knowledge that they got from the honorable Elijah Muhammad made them be ready that they showed up so that they can get more training because they said that they didn't prepare them for what they needed. So they said a man with a third grade education taught them better than the education system itself. Whew, think about that. Those present at the meeting expressed great enthusiasm about participating in such a historic event and were optimistic that the meeting would bear great fruit. One immediate benefit was meeting and developing links of communication with so many other brothers and sisters with professional skills who could be important contacts for various things in the future, said Dr. Luther X, chairman of the psychology department at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. So it created, ain't no telling what kind of connections because you had all those like minds in one place that it created and what happened from that. John X of Temple Number 13, Springfield, Massachusetts, and holder of master degree in education, viewed the meeting as the first of many meetings that will serve to channel our collective talent into one Islamic direction. Sister Mary Eloise X of the Nation of the Temple Number 2 echoed Brother John's sentiments. It's very necessary for the teachers in the various universities of Islam around the country to be on the same wavelength so that when a college division is formed, the students will have uniform academic preparation. Most of the observations and recommendations spawned by the various workshops held during a 3 day gathering were equally as concerned with maintaining an Islamic attitude and working relations with professional excellence. So they wanted to make sure that they maintain their integrity and their rightness at the same time got their education in the white man's world. We must get it out of our minds that we are experts because we hold various degrees from prestigious universities because there is only one expert, and that's Honorable Elijah Muhammad, declared Dr. Octavius X, Doctor, president of Roxbury Medical. Let me read that again. I don't think y'all understand. It says that we must get it out of our minds that we are experts because we hold various degrees from prestigious universities. Because there's only one expert, and that's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. declared Dr. Octavius X, president of the Roxbury, Massachusetts Medical Training Institute. This was the president of the Institute of the Medical Facility. And they saying that if you ain't got, oh man, I don't think y'all listening. You know what I mean? I get excited about knowledge and guys doing godly things, black men being godly like that. Like imagine that level. That's aspirational goals right there. You understand me? It says the seminar sessions were chaired by Dr. Clark X of New York City's University of Islam number 7, director of New York schools for 7 years. Brother Clark holds a master in biology and has done extensive work in cancer research. We're just trying to catch up to something Messenger Muhammad put out in the first place, in the first part of his mission. We're not trying to add on to what the messenger teaches, we can't, but we're attempting to see at another level of understanding. You got all these experts. This man got a third grade education, and they basically saying that we feel like dwarfs, and this man is a giant, and he was only 5 foot something. It says this meeting, he continued, is a first attempt to formalize a curriculum out of the basic concepts given to us by the messenger Muhammad. Mm-mm-mm. Let me go over who that man was. It was Dr. Clark X, New York City's University of Islam number 7, director of New York schools. He was the director of New York schools for 7 years. He held a master's in biology and has done extensive work, but he said that we just trying to catch up. We can't add nothing to because they said the knowledge that he gave was something that we ain't never heard before. You understand me? So they was trying to. So you got to look at the formulation of the strategy that he did, right? He found different black people that were experts in different fields all across America. He changed their mindset. He changed their name. That's why I'm putting the X. And if you hear Dr. Clark X, these are all black people that once had a slave name, but he was transitioning them into a more godly form and then utilizing them so that they can help black people out in America, but not in the utilization of a way they're being used by their former education, but he was giving them a divine knowledge. And then he was saying, building on this, this is the right direction that our people can use in order to build. Man, he had, and that man was amazing, 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 Pop. Um, mm. Y'all, this the reason that y'all ain't getting nowhere because y'all don't study the right people in history. Because if you understand this and you study this and you want to accumulate, add on to this and build like the messenger did, you get somewhere. But see, nah. Y'all ain't trying to study like that. Let me see. All right, cool. We read that. Independent nation needs a strong economic foundation. So they had a 3-year plan, which will help our people in general. And so it allow you to be able to give a pledge right here, allow you to be able to give a pledge. The people were the bank. And if you look at this farm, Nation Islam has a farm today and has fish and everything today as well. You can buy the Navy beans and things of that nature at the fish and has this and has stores and supermarkets set up throughout the country as well. Today. So, but here's the thing. No, listen, we focus on one thing at a time. You know what I mean? Don't try to don't be divisive. People always want to be the what about Noble Drew Ali? I just did a podcast when my brother just called me from jail. My brother Steve Jones, he called me from jail. He said he just learned about Noble Drew Ali, and we was having a great discussion. You can go, you know what I mean? Listen to the podcast. You want to hear that. But when we focusing on one particular black person, allow us to focus on that person. And if I learn about Noble Drew Ali and I decide to come on here to do a live to educate the people about that which I learned, then that's when we will continue a conversation to communicate all of the great things that Noble Drew Ali did. But we do not be divisive here. Here's where we bring unity and bridge unity. What you can say is, one day I would love for you to do it live on Noble Drew Ali because I'm very interested in the works that he accomplished while he was here in such a short amount of time that allow black people to amass an enormous amount of education when it comes to, you know what I mean, the government and understanding our ways that we can utilize this paperwork to get ahead. All right. All right. Well, hold on. Let me look at that. Look at that jet. That boy had that jet with that star and crescent on the back. I ain't gonna lie, that's baller right there. I want one of those people. I gotta give me a jet. I gotta give me a jet like Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, I gave me a jet like Elijah Muhammad had, man. So y'all be thinking all of this is about, oh, I'm spiritual. I gotta pray. Now I'm about to get me a jet like Elijah Muhammad had. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? He said work is better than prayer, and prayer is better than sleep. Come on now, work is better than prayer. He didn't say it at the same time. He said it at separate times, but I'm adding them together the way my mind works. So they had the farms. You understand me? Some of the 44, they had 44 Muhammad universities around the country, transmitting the excitement and deep significance of black students from a black educational system. Whew. A bank they had a bank, they had the business programs. Man, so much. We got a lot of work to do, people, just to catch up with all that he did back in the day. We got a lot of work to do to catch up to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's crazy, right? When you think about that, like we have not made it to where he is. We got a lot of work to do, people. You understand me? So, um, a lot of people are always looking for what to do next. You understand me? And the structure of what kind of business we can create and the things that we can do, it's a blueprint already there. He even have a blueprint, an economic blueprint as well, on how you can amass collective wealth, like my brother Pop Darby does, the Unity as well, and it teaches you on how the economic blueprint and how you and it's alive to this day that you can give money to. The thing that they had back then, and it looks like my hour is up. The thing that they had back then was unity, and this is one thing that we're missing today, that in 90 days they was able to raise more than 1.15 million to buy that jet. And when we try to come together to get behind teachings and programs and plans, we look at everything with a side eye instead of saying that. For one, I look at it like this: black people spend 1.15 trillion dollars on liabilities. But if we took that, instead of it being a spending power, we made it an investment power, we would win, and this would be our hour. That's all I have for you today. This was a brief history class. I hope y'all enjoyed it. You understand me? If you want to support the good brother, I don't mind. You can always go link in my bio. Go ahead and get you a crown. You understand me? Go ahead and join the master class. Change your life. You understand me? Don't ask me what I'm doing. The messenger didn't get to getting all his greatness out to 30s and 40s. I ain't even hit my 30s yet. I'm working. Be patient. Be patient. Imagine if they snip at before he hit his 33. What you doing? Support, let build, let be. Become a key in every day we achieve. Tap in, y'all. Peace. Man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We just had a magnificent live. Oh, my little brother called just in time. Let's see what he's talking about.
Why you get off live, folks?
What you mean? Because the hour is up. I'm on live still on YouTube though.
Uh, well, cause soon as you said you,
What?
literally, as soon as you said I'm almost 30, I was like, I was trying to put
I
on there.
never said I was almost 30.
Nah, you said you was almost 30.
I
No,
never said that.
you said no, you
I
said
said
you
I'm
didn't
not
hit
even
30 yet.
30.
Yeah, exactly. You said you didn't hit 30 yet, but I was like, you almost.
I
I had
got
put on there.
years to
I
go.
put on there. I was like, well, you almost there though, but it ended. And I couldn't comment on it. I'm like, bruh, but you still live right now?
Yes, I am.
I was gonna say go live with me, man, because I feel like talking right now.
Because you feel like talking. Now, listen, YouTube, I don't want y'all to be privy for this because I'm not sure if it's going to be as great as what I just shared about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. I will go live with my brother to see what he got to say, and I will share my platform. Right now, I'm tuned in and tapped in, and we just gave you a historical lesson on the great legacy of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad so that you can be inspired by the example that's been set forth and continue to evolve upon the example that was here, that is here, and that continues to be here through the legacy of all of the people and all of the shining and all of the greatness and all of the excellence that he has laid through the foundation of the teachings that not only that he's talked about, that he's done. So he said, after me comes God. So what he talking about God? He talking about the God in you. He said, after me comes the executors. When he talking about executing, we talking about executing off of the work and not just talking about the work. This has been an amazing live, and I appreciate all of y'all for tapping in. Thank you and blessings. Peace. Hey, wait. Make sure you subscribe, share with a friend, and come back again.